Rabbi, Furst, 10th of July, Mishna Berura.
Okay. Oh, binyan shel tziur. That's a type of a decorative type of a structure that you're building. The kior is like a type of a like it might be considered like a fountain, like to make like a fountain. You see many places in decorative fountains.
Sure. Okay. Let's see. Uve nitia shel simcha. And the planting of happiness.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're planting something which is basically for enjoyment, meaning like it could in our times be if you want to do landscaping, or if you want to do some type of gardening, which is not necessarily again, if you have a cabbage patch, you have a vegetable garden. That's not what we're talking about here, but we're talking about simply planting things for decorative or for pleasure's sake.
Okay. So like cutting the lawn you can do then.
Yeah, I imagine you can cut the lawn. Yeah, putting sod. You want to resod the lawn. I remember. Anyone ever resodded their lawn in the old days back in America? There.
I remember those days.
Excuse me.
I remember those days.
So that whether that's considered a Netiya Shel Simcha, I don't know. Meaning it's relevant to this halacha, whether that would be permissible and proper to do during the 9 days. I don't know. It could be. I mean, when you remember what was the motivation in resodding the lawn? I forgot all those things, and it's been a while now.
People didn't like the old weeds in their lawn.
I guess there are too many weeds. Yeah, too many weeds.
Yeah.
But was it?
No, not really. It's just the lawn is dying.
Yeah,
the lawn is not flourishing.
Yes,
You want to renew it.
It's dry. It's drying out, and it's it's graying, and so yeah. So that's reside. What about reseeding? I remember I used to seed the lawn. I used to seed the lawn in the springtime. I think it was in the springtime. I forget exactly. Certain time of year you'd have to seed the lawn and fertilize the lawn. Remember that? I remember that.
Yeah, but I think it's like you said, it's earlier either in the spring or later in the maybe even early fall.
Yeah,
Spring, fall.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it during the summer because the seeds will dry. They'll just burn up from the sun. You need to do it when it's not too hot. Yeah. So normally, but let's say you live in a climate. I don't know. Maybe for example, South Africa. I don't know. South Africa everything's reversed. So I don't know. So maybe now, this time of year might be, what time is it? What in South Africa now? What is it?
Middle of winter.
Middle of the winter. Middle of the winter. It's probably too cold to seed then. But whether seeding the lawn will be included in this, I don't know. If it were, let's say, if it was shaykh, I don't know. I don't know. Resodding the lawn maybe would be included. Just seeding the lawn, I don't know. But again, the Machaber also gives an example here. Kagon vorkini.
Okay, Kagon vorniki shel Melachim shenotim. 1 second. Litzel lehit. Is that right? Yeah, litzel lehitos faith vitzilo.
Right, that they made these they planted these trees for market, meaning the royalty, the nobility. You have to do this. You had to have land. You had to have means to be able to do these things. So in general, the nobility would plant different trees in their gardens to add to their shade, right?
Uh-huh.
They didn't they didn't have air conditioning and electric fans and all that in those days. So how did they stay cool? Right? They would sit in the shade, right?
Sit in the shade.
And they drink lemonade or whatever they drink, and they stay cool in the hot summer afternoons. So if they wanted to add extra shade, they'd plant extra trees to provide shade for themselves. So that would be um, something which should be done for pleasure's sake. So therefore, you should refrain from doing that during the 9 days from Rosh Chodesh Av onward.
Okay. Omine hadas, umine ohalim.
So types of hadas, meaning hedges, you want to put in hedges. So again, this could be included in like landscaping, right? So if you want to re-landscape, so that would probably be forbidden. But let's say the Mexican, the Puerto Rican, they come around every week and they trim and they cut and they do whether they rake the leaf, whatever they do. So those things, that's just maintenance. So I would imagine that simple things for maintenance would still be permissible. Right? You're just maintaining the lawn, maintaining the greenery.
Uh-huh. Okay. V'im haya cut low note lipol af al pi shehu shel simcha mutar livnot.
So if you had a wall which was leaning over and perhaps about to fall, right? Let's say you had a wall that was caving in some way or another, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course, even though that the wall may be a wall that's strictly for simcha, maybe it's you have a swimming pool, right? You have a swimming pool, and out in the back there you have a patio, an enclosed patio, and with barbecue pits and all this stuff out there. So maybe one of the walls of the patio out by the swimming pool is falling over. So even though it's strictly for simcha, that opinion, that structure is strictly for enjoyment, since it's about to fall, right? It could be dangerous. It could be it might be involving a loss. Obviously, the general rule is that if you support a wall before it falls, you can save yourself a lot of trouble, a lot of money, because once it falls, you have to rebuild everything from the beginning. But if you simply support the wall when it's just leaning, so you save yourself a lot of work, a lot of expense as well. So therefore, you're not obligated, even though it's for the wall itself is for pleasure, joyous purposes. Nevertheless, it's not what you're not doing for the joy involved. You're doing it because you want to save time and money and effort. That'll be permissive even during the 9 days.
Okay, letzorech mitzvah hakol sharei.
Right.
For a mitzvah.
I mean, so anything that you would have to build for the sake of a mitzvah, that would be permissible.
So I should see in the first days of Av, they're constructing a new building for one of the shuls right on Paran.
Right.
I'm going to check it out to see if they work from the 1st of Av to the 9th of Av.
Okay, yeah, you can see, it all depends. I mean, it depends on who's the kabbalan, who's running the contractor over there. And sometimes they simply, that's their vacation time. Like, like whether they have it could be that since it's for a mitzvah, maybe in theory they have a permissibility to build, let's say, a shul. But sometimes the contractors here in Israel, they simply, that's their vacation. That's, they're on vacation that week. Everyone's off for those 2 weeks or something like that. So,
Okay.
it all depends on the contractor. But you keep your eyes and ears open. So give us a report. Another look. Hopefully, Mashiach will come beforehand, and we won't have to be concerned with this.
That's right.
Amen.
That's
Okay.
Hashem.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Ve'ein osim anashim ve'ein osin seudat erusin. So no marriages, I guess. And
Right
no,
now, notice this is the Mechaber Shita, right? That's the Mechaber Shita that they're from only from Rosh Chodesh Av. There's no chasanas, right? We'll see. I think the Ramah or the Mishna mentioned that according to the Ashkenazim, we start refraining from chasanas from the time of the Yud Zayin Tammuz, the last week.
okay.
Okay.
So one quick question then.
Sure.
If the chasana occurs before, let's say, Yud Zayin Tammuz,
Right.
are they still permitted? Well, I guess Yud Zayin Tammuz, they wouldn't be permitted. I guess at night, would they still be permitted to do the Sheva brachas during that period?
Yeah, you could. You're right. There are different minhagim according to the Ashkenazim and the Sephardim. According to the Sephardim, I believe Sheva brachas can go on as normal without any change whatsoever. According to the Ashkenazim, you can have Sheva brachas, but I think you should refrain from dancing. I mean, you can sing. If I'm not mistaken, you can sing, but I think you refrain from dancing. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Let's see.
What
Aval,
what if a Sephardi marries an Ashkenazi and Ashkenazi wears a Sephardi? So then you have to talk to the local rabbi about it.
right.
Maybe it might depend
Oh,
on
yeah.
the Sheva brachas. Could be if when you come to the Ashkenazi house, you have to do what the Ashkenazim do. When you go to the Sephardi's house, you do what the Sephardim do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, you have to talk to the local rabbi about that.
That makes sense, I guess. Or half the people at the wedding will be dancing and half won't be. Maybe I don't
Well,
know.
the wedding, that's another thing. What if the Sephardim can have chasanas now, as we just learned. So can an Ashkenaz go to a Sephardish wedding, right? So the answer is, if I'm not mistaken, an Ashkenaz can in fact go to the Sephardish wedding, and I believe he can even dance also as well. I think so.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So it said, then it goes on. Aval le'ares velo suda mutar.
Right, because we just learned you don't make a sudas irison, meaning that's like we don't have this, so we make when we have a l'chaim, we have a vort and things like this. But in earlier times, the sudas irison was like it was a formal, because they had irison and then they had nesuin, and sometimes there was a long time in between. According to the Gemara, the minhag custom was at the time of the Gemara and onward to a certain extent, there was a whole year's time between the irison, the engagement, so to speak, and the minute kedushin, and finally the nisuin. So they actually had a proper celebration for the irison. But in our times, we don't do that so much anymore. But nevertheless, still in terms of a sudas, I mean, you want to make a vort. So there are different minhagim in terms of how to make a vort during the 3 weeks for the Ashkenazim. Because even according to the Sephardim, you're not supposed to make a sudas irison. That means like to have really a whole suda, like a proper meal washing, and like we have it's a chasana meal, more or less. So that even the Sephardim refrain from doing during the 3 weeks. The Aris, but to make the engagement, the kedushin, without a suda, that's okay. Meaning you could still serve a lot of things would not make it into a suda. You could have like a kiddush, just have mazonos and things like that. That could be, and that is permissible. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Vafilu b'tisha b'av atzmo mutar le'ares shelo yikad menu acher.
Oh, so why is this? Even on Tisha B'av itself, it's mutter to engage yourself to a woman. Why? Meaning someone else shouldn't take her away from out from under you. Right? Very concerned that the person has finally found his b'sheret, and he'll be concerned not to do it on Tisha B'av, but someone else who's less concerned, he'll go and Mekadesh himself to this woman out from under the first fellow, and he'll lose out his b'sheret. So
Wow.
therefore, even on Tisha B'Av, you can go ahead and Mekadesh yourself to an Isha.
Okay, so the Haggah. V'no hagim l'chachmir she'ein nosim b'tamuz ve'elach ad achar Tisha B'Av. Okay, so that answers my question.
Right. So this is the meaning of the Ashkenazim, that we are strict in terms of not having marriages, weddings, until after from Yuzayin Tammuz until after Tisha B'Av. Okay. Very
Okay.
good. Let's go back now. We'll backtrack and see the Mr. Brewers here, starting with Sifkat Yud Aleph.
Okay, so it says, let's see, Ma'atim b'masa umatan. Yesh min haposkim desvira lahu dehainu shelo yisa b'masa umatan shel simcha.
Kagon, read it. The Kagon, Niknos.
Oh, kigon liknot the klei kesef. Oh, tzarchei chupa v'kadome.
So there are those poskim that say, meaning we're not simply talking about people who, we'll see about people who own businesses. What does this mean? If a person has a business, is he obligated to, again, it says mamai, it doesn't mean to do away with it entirely, it means to reduce businesses. That means a person's not supposed to, if he's open from 9 to 5, that means he's only supposed to be open from 9 to 2. So we'll see. There's Berura here. We're not talking where a person's working for his parnasa. Okay, that's what the Mr. Brewer is mentioning here. Meaning to liknos kli kesef, meaning he wants to. He likes to collect antiques, right? So he likes to go to auctions. He likes to buy all these different things. So that's like his, and he maybe even trades in it. Maybe even trades in it as well. So that type of business dealings he should refrain from during the 3 weeks. Actually, no. From Rosh Chodesh Av, right? So, and also for the tzorchi chuppah, right? If a person needs to buy, again, there's going to be they're making a lot of chasnas after Tisha B'Av, so they're getting ready. They want to buy things for the chuppah, so a person should refrain from buying those things. Also, let's say you want to get the kala, you have to buy the kala candlesticks, right? You want to buy a engagement ring and all these kind of things. So when you buy those items, there's a lot of joy associated with the purchase of those items. So those type of things, they're not relevant to your making a parnasa. It's relevant to the joy of the occasion which you're buying them for. So those type of things you should refrain from and not do that. Now, again, if there's going to be a deal, there's going to have a sale to save money. So that's another story. Usually, if you're going to save money, there's going to be a loss of money, therefore, and if you wait till after Tisha B'Av, could be permissible to actually buy the things, even for the joyous occasions as well, even during the 9 days, according to the Machaber, the Spanish Minna. Okay.
Okay. Aval stam masa umatan ein sarich lema'et klal.
Right, so that the makom ein tzorich l'may klal, right, means stam masama, meaning normal business. Normal business, there's no obligation to reduce your normal business. I mean, if you're doing it for your business, for your parnasa, right, you have no obligation to reduce any of that activity.
So that also means if you're a musician, you could also work in your trade there, in your profession.
Yeah. It's mentioned in the posting. For example, let's say now again, the Ashkenazim, we don't make chasanas from beginning from last week already.
That's right. That's true.
Right. Let's say a person's an Ashkenazi band, and they play at chasanas. So the the halacha is, according to the poskim, I think that even an Ashkenazi who plays music, he can play his music if he's doing it for his parnasah at as far as the wedding up until Rosh Chodesh Av.
Uh-huh. Okay, good. Okay. Let's see. V'yesh t'svira lehu dechol masa matan tzarich lema'et ba'et hazot. I'll just continue a little. V'lo yasok ela kidei panasato. That's what we were saying. Okay.
He's doing it, right? Hakol niksav ke'ez kedei shebarnas. He's doing it simply to put bread on his table, right? Therefore, that's considered to be permissible. Right?
Okay. Okay. V'chein mashma b'siman taf kufnun dalet sof seif kaf bet.
Oh, well, let me. I'm sorry to interrupt. Sorry, Mayor. What if you want to buy? If someone has a birthday during the 3 weeks or the 9, let's say the 9 days, you want to buy him a birthday present.
Ah.
Is that permissible? Let's say your brother, your wife has a birthday during the 9 days, and that's when she was born, right? So you want to buy, you want to buy her flowers. Can you buy her flowers? Can you buy her a nice, whatever she might enjoy as a present? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yes, I think you can.
Okay. Why is that?
Because
Shalom buy it.
yeah, someone buy it. You're not. It's not for yourself. It's for somebody else.
Well, we said earlier for the tzorchi chuppah, right? You're not supposed to buy silver or tzorchi chuppah, things for the chuppah, right? So that could be not necessarily just limited to the chassan and kala. It could be limited. It could include like the parents of the chassan and kala, guests for the chassan and kala, right?
Right.
And I'm sure. Look, if if your wife is a chachama, she's wise. She knows that you're not supposed to, buy and have. You're supposed to mamayit b'simcha. Can you have a birthday party during the 9 days?
I think the answer is yes. As long as you don't have music and you're not dancing.
Okay. What about balloons? You want to put up balloons and streamers?
Well, that might be okay, only because they're temporary. I mean, they don't last too long.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Don't
don't
you-
want it to be really festive, but to have a nice little party for your wife, I think is very appropriate.
Well, I mean, definitely appropriate, but I don't know if it's appropriate during the 9 days.
How about cooking her dinner?
How about going out to dinner? Look, you can't have meat during the 9 days anyway, right?
Unless you have a siyum.
Unless you have what?
A siyum.
A siyum. Oh, okay, yeah, you can make a siyum for your wife's birthday, and then you
I
can go out.
I heard a rumor that there were restaurants that purposely have siyums scheduled during the 9 days.
A very common practice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of recent. I don't know if that was the minig in previous times and places, but in any, we'll see about making a siyum. You're not supposed to mechaven. You'll see though. We'll have later on. Where is it? We'll get to it about making a siyum. You're not supposed to mechaven to finish during the 9 days. If it works out that you finish up during the 9 days is okay, but you're not supposed to plan to finish out during the 9 days. It's not. Let's put it this way: it's not so. You have to ask a rav if it's a worthy practice or not. I don't know. I'm not going to get involved, but you have to ask a rav if it's a worthy practice or not.
Okay, I think pick up from here tomorrow.
Yeah, we're in the middle, so we just, so we just stopped, yeah, we just stopped in the middle here. And, we're in, Yud Base, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Oh, we'll be in your base, I guess. Okay, tomorrow.
okay, good. So remember there was